Hi, everyone. I'm Phoenix Rising Star from Sedona, Arizona. I'm a transformational life coach, an author, an angel channeler, and so much more. And so today we are talking about how to transform your life with the help of the angels. Now, before we begin, because I work with angels and we're going to be talking and working with them throughout this whole time, I just want you to know that they've offered each of you a personal session. Now, they honor free will. So if you don't want any healing with angels, you can just say no and they will honor that. But if you are open to that, I invite you to answer this question. How would you like to shift, heal, change, manifest, or transform your life at this point? And you can have all of those things, but just be really specific about how you'd like your life to be different as a result of what we're about to do. Now, while you're thinking about that question, let me just explain a little bit more about how I work with angels. So technically, I have been talking to angels all my life, although I didn't know that's who I was talking to. So I remember when I was 5 and my mom said to me, "Honey, who are you talking to?" And I said, "Oh, my friends." And she said, they were imaginary. And she said, "So they'll have to go now." And so I said to them, "Okay, you'll have to go now." So they left, but fortunately they didn't leave forever and they did come back. And they've been absolutely instrumental in my life with every major challenge and change that I've made in my life. So they helped me quit my job and become an entrepreneur before that was even something that people did. They helped me quit a relationship that was not working and move across country and recreate myself virtually from the ground up. They helped me to open up to a new loving relationship that has just been the light of my life, to open up a healing center in Sedona, Arizona, to close a healing center in Sedona, Arizona, and to build an online practice when that was just becoming kind of something brand new. So angels are instrumental and they always have your highest good and healing as their intention. And when you have an intention, they hold the intention that you will get that or something even better. We don't always know what the something better is, but if we allow for it, then we can usually experience that. So I invite you, along with your focus, to hold the door open for this or something even better. All right. Now, each one of you has an angel that is at least one angel that's going to be working with you during this talk today. So I just want you to open up your heart and all of your senses because each of us senses things differently, especially angelic energy. So for me, I feel it in my heart and I hear them talking to me. But for other people, they may see colors like purple or green. Others may see different types of sacred geometry. Others may see an actual figure or a shape. Others might smell a fragrance of roses or jasmine or something that's really high vibration. Still, others will hear tones. Others will get goosebumps. There's so many ways in which we can sense energy. So just allow yourself to sense energy in whatever way is right for you. And remember, it's this or something better. So while those angels are getting into place with you, I want to share with you about the Healing Angel Protocol, which is what I teach and it virtually has become what I do in my healing practice. So the Healing Angel Protocol was inspired by my friend. We had the kind of friendship that, we didn't have to talk to each other all the time and maybe years would go by, but when we did talk, it was just like we had always been talking, we were just that close to each other. So I hadn't heard from her for a while, and then all of a sudden I get a call out of the blue, and she goes, "I need your help." I said, "Okay, what's going on?" And she said, "Well, I've got this lump on my tongue that the doctors are kind of worried about, and they're going to be doing some work on it. And I just wondered if you've got anything energetically about it." So I said, "Well," the first thing out of my mouth was, "Has the cat got your tongue? Have you been holding back things that maybe you wished you hadn't and that you wished you would have said?" And she just kind of sighed and she said, "Yeah, like all my life." So we agreed that once she got more information, we would talk again. And then she said she would think about how she wanted to work with me on this, depending on what the results were. So the next time I heard her on the phone, she was talking and it was almost garbled. It was kind of hard to understand her, but she said what had happened was when they tested the lump on her tongue, it was like stage 4 cancer. And so they removed not only the lump, but part of her tongue. But she said, it's still working and I can still talk. And so even though it was a little hard to understand her at times, I mean, she was the most positive person I've ever met in my life. So we agreed to start doing some work together while the doctors were trying to figure out what our options were. And what we were doing was a blend of, I just asked the angels, what do we do? And they just tell me. So I'm also a hypnotherapist. So we were doing a blend of hypnotherapy and guided meditation and angel work, energy work to get to the bottom, get to the root of what was going on, because they discovered not only the lump on her tongue, even though that had been removed, but then 4 other tumors were present in her body. And so if you can get to the underlying emotional and mental beliefs behind why those are there, then usually you can begin the healing faster. So that's what we were doing. And she was discovering things like the tumor in her lung was really about grief, about moving away, leaving her house that she'd built. And she didn't really want to move away, but it was her husband's idea. And so that was how the lung got started, because lungs are where we hold grief. There was another lump in her throat when she had to sell her beloved convertible, and she didn't really want to sell her beloved convertible, and she just really wanted to feel free again and to be driving around and feel the wind in her hair and feel that fun and excitement of having a convertible, and she'd never expressed that. So things like that were coming up, but they come up for healing. And so by the time we were finished with our work, those tumors had dissipated. They disappeared, totally disappeared, which was wonderful. The problem was that because her body was so inundated at that point, she had other tumors that were appearing. And she decided to follow the doctor's regimen of chemo and radiation, which is fine. It's totally a personal choice. But she said to me, I have my medical team, I have my prayer team, and I want you to be in charge of my energy team. So the way that I was able to help her is to create guided meditations to facilitate a greater healing through her chemo and radiation, and then also guided meditations for pain management. So that was kind of how we slipped into doing that. She ended up living longer than the doctors ever thought, but eventually she just became overwhelmed by cancer, and that was the end of her life. But her legacy is that she left me with a Healing Angel protocol. Now, the way it got its name is when she had started her chemo and radiation, she said to me, I'm really kind of freaked out by what the doctors are telling me. And I don't want to use their terms because it's freaking me out. And I don't think that's healthy. So I want something else. I want a different name. So I said to the angels, what do we call it? And they said the Healing Angel Protocol. So when I told her that, she's like, I love that. It's so positive and it doesn't have negative connotations and it's not scary. So that's what I continue to call it as her legacy. Wow. You can really tell that this is near and dear to my heart. Okay, so I started testing it on other people because I thought, this is I've only had one experience with one person, and that was really unique for her. But what if, angels, what if you could give me a series of things that other people would all benefit from? So that's when they started giving me these virtual downloads of what the Healing Angel Protocol really is in its existing 3 levels right now. I do think there's a 4th level that will be coming in at some point, and maybe a 5th, but right now there are 3 levels to it. And the first level is all about being the channel of divine energy, in this case angels, but it also could be power animals or plant spirits, because I'm really shamanic too in a lot of my work, and so they kind of blend, and all of these are aspects of the divine. So it's learning how to be that channel so that you can share the healing and messages that are coming through for people. And that's what level 1's all about. So right now, you've got at least one angel that's working with you, and you're probably starting to sense some healing energy being aimed at wherever you need it the most. It could be in your physical body, but it also could be emotionally, or in your mental belief systems, or in your spiritual layers. Your spiritual layer has more to do with your soul purpose and why you are here, and the contracts that you made when you came here, and the agreements that you made, and the the lessons that you came here to share and learn for yourself, but also to share with others. So there's so much that could be going on, and much of it is at a really deep cellular level. So it's so subtle, you may not have a logical cognitive awareness of it, but just allow it to be what it is. And remember, it's this or something better, whatever you're asking for is something better. But one of the things that does make it more real for people are sharing the healing messages that come through from angels or from any other guides that might show themselves. So as a channel of the Healing Angel Protocol, I just want to share that there is one healing message that's coming through for the group as you are listening to this. And of course, it may not be completely relevant to everybody, but because it's a group, chances are everyone in the group is going to have some kind of aha moment or connection or epiphany that might happen as a result of this message. So just be open. If you don't feel it relates to you, just, you don't have to take it in, just let it go. But if it does relate to you, then I hope this helps. So this message that's coming through, I'm getting a visual. Now, normally I'm very auditory, but in this case, I'm getting a visual of a cat that is shedding a lot of hair, and to the point of having bald spots. And so when I ask the angels and the cat, what is this about? I'm told that many times animals, and we are animals, will shed our hair when it's hot. Okay, that's kind of a logical thing. And we certainly have had a lot more heat waves across the United States and across the world this year than any others. But that's not the only reason why people will shed their hair, or animals will shed their hair. They shed their hair because of imbalances, hormonal imbalances, or thyroid complications, allergies and sensitivities. And also through those imbalances can be really offset or happen through our emotional lack of well-being. So if any of those things might relate to you, just know that, sometimes just knowledge is power. So if you just know that that may be one of the things going on, then you can further look into it, whether you pursue a medical route or an angel route or an internet route, whatever you choose. But that's the message, that there's an imbalance someplace, and it could be in your thyroid, it could be in allergies, sensitivities, emotional, hormonal, whatever it might be. But you might want to look into that and see if that relates to you or not. And if you already know in your heart that it doesn't, then just let that go. So there's an angelic message and cat message for you, so you can kind of see how it starts to happen. And of course, with level 1, not only is not only what is coming through or healing messages, but also healing is coming through. So just allow yourself to feel that and sense that in whatever way is right for you. And if you need to have some cognitive awareness around it, you will. And if it needs to come in later, it will. So a lot of this is just about being in that state. And also, you may feel really sleepy right now. I find a lot of clients just fall asleep instantly as soon as this starts. So it's okay if you fall asleep, and it's really okay if you even snore, but you might be bothering the person next to you. So just kind of be conscious of that. Maybe go into what we call a twilight zone, which is where you hear my voice and you could care less what I'm saying, but you're really kind of present in your chair where you are right now. Okay, let me share a little bit. Okay, so that's level 1. That's what level 1 looks like. But level 2 then starts changing into more of what is known as cellular memory releasing. Now, I do a lot of different modalities, and one of the things that I'm a trainer for is integrated energy therapy, which heals cellular memory at the cellular level in 9 different places in the body using 9 different angels. Now, what is cellular memory? Cellular memory is a record of all of your experiences, bad and good ones. Well, our joyful ones don't get in our way, but our painful, traumatic ones, if we hold on to them, they color what I call our attraction factor. So that means that, say that you're in an abusive relationship. And even if you leave that abusive relationship, you've retained the cellular memories of abuse. The feelings of it, maybe physical pain from it, maybe even some mental beliefs around, gosh, it's not safe to be in a relationship, people will hurt me, I can't trust anybody, those kinds of things. So you could be carrying all of those things in your cellular memory if you haven't learned how to clear that. What happens is, when you're carrying that, you're also broadcasting that through the law of attraction. And the very abusers and people looking for codependent people are going to be picking that up because that's their same level of attraction. And therefore, you end up repeating abusive relationships again and again and again if you don't know how to heal that cellular memory. So with integrated energy therapy, you're healing in 9 different areas, even though things have tentacles. But I felt like it was constricted. I felt like it didn't go far enough and it could go farther. So I said to the angels, I'd really like to heal more or in different ways or in, something that's more complete than this. So what do you have in mind? So they gave me 20 additional places in the body and the energy field where we hold on to cellular memory that gets in our way, and showed me virtually how to just allow the angels to help release that and fill the person up with divine grace, which means different things to different people. Now, not only did they give me 20 specific areas where cellular memory is held and what is held there, I can't find reference to these areas anywhere on the internet or in any book. So I know that this is original material from the angels because I asked for that. But the other thing that they did is they gave me something called the time-space continuum, which is hotspots. It shows up as hotspots in our energy field. And so through the secondary chakras of your hands, when you're going through your energy field, if you feel a sticky place, that's a hotspot. And there's something, usually a past life, but may not be, that's held there that can be healed, because otherwise, if it's not healed, it gets in your way. It changes your law of attraction, right? So if you're putting out abuse, you're going to attract abuse. When you heal abuse, you're no longer putting that out and you're attracting more confident, loving relationships to yourself. So whatever's a hot spot, it has something to do with something that's getting in your way. And when the angels heal that, then you are able to attract more of what you're choosing. So you see how that works? All right. So right now with you and having these angels working with you, those of you who chose that, okay, so I'm just kind of going through the collective field of the group because I know everybody's listening to this. You're part of a group, whether you realize it or not. So again, the message may have a direct correlation to you, but it may not. So let it go if it doesn't matter to you. But if it does, then take it in and, knowledge is power. You can do something and the angels are doing something for you right now. Whew. Part of what I mentioned is being that channel, because this is what I teach to my students all the time. You are not the healers. The client is the healer. The client is choosing when they're ready to heal and the extent to which. And so I am not a healer. I'm a facilitator for healing. I'm a channeler for the angels. So as I'm going through the collective energy field, I'm really drawn to this area of the heart. And of course, how much of us do not need heart healing, but this particular place is about maybe 8 to 10 inches away from the heart, from the literal heart. So it's in the energy field of both physical and emotional. It's kind of an overlapping area there. And what I'm hearing the angels say to me is just tell them it's not their fault. It is not your fault. No matter how awful you think it was not your fault. Because if you would have known better, you could have done better. Okay, all right, so just take that in if it resonates with you. And allow the angels, what I do is I just hold my hand there as long as the angels tell me to hold my hand there. And they're sending you the healing for your heart hurts on whatever level that is being held. And it's probably both physical and emotional right now. So just allow that to be what it is for you and allow it to heal and allow yourself to be filled with divine grace if that resonates with you. Now, let me go back a minute to level 1 as that's happening, because this was also a direct message. And so many times there's some overlap, But with level 1, I wanted to give you an example of how that works with a client. So I was working with a client the other day. And, you really have to trust when these messages start coming through, because you don't know if it's going to have any meaning for anybody at all. Just like the cat losing hair, I have no idea if it has any meaning, but I trust that what I'm given has something for whoever I'm working with. So I was working with this woman and I said, I opened up the healing session and I just said, okay, who wants to come in? Well, all of a sudden a giraffe comes in. And I said, so we're getting a giraffe today. And she starts to giggle. And I said, so giraffe is about having that head that is higher than anything around it and can look around and see a bigger picture. Not as big as a hawk or an eagle, but just a bigger perspective. And that's what you need to have. You're too close to it. You can't see what's a straight line and what isn't. So raise your head above the trees and look down, and you're going to see a better perspective for where you are. And she's giggling away. She said, I used to collect giraffes all the time. She said, in fact, my mother had this story about how if you're not a giraffe, you can't claim you're a giraffe. But if you are a giraffe, then you can say you're a giraffe. So it had so much meaning for her. And she decided to find her giraffes wherever they were stored and reconnect with giraffes. So you never know. You just trust that what comes through has meaning for the people. Now, let me give you an example of what happened in level 2. And I mean, I've got thousands, but I just kind of picked out one. So in level 2, in finding a hot spot, I was working with a man who had discovered he had bladder cancer. And bladder cancer is about both fear and anger. And when I was working with his time-space continuum, I said to him, okay, so I'm getting something here that is related to both anger and fear. And it's about women rejecting you. And he's like, yeah, they all do. And I went, wait a minute, they all do? He's like, yep, every relationship I've ever had has, that woman has rejected me. And it's pissed me off. There's the bladder cancer. And it's made me fearful that I'm always going to have that kind of relationship. Okay, now we found the underlying beliefs behind his cancer. So I said to the angels, okay, have at it. So, I mean, not that they needed my permission, but it's just like, okay, yay, we get to work on this. And so what they said was, all right, we're going to help you change your attraction factor. We're going to help heal the anger and the pain and the fear. And then we're going to fill you up with more confidence and belief in yourself. So you attract loving relationships that are respectful and do not reject you. And just as a result of our work together, his bladder cancer went away and never came back. So, I mean, this is how it can work, in ways that we don't even know what's connected. But that was just something better. He wasn't necessarily asking to be cured or healed. He was just saying, I want to deal with it. I want this to be better. Well, it got better than better. It got gone. Okay, good. All right. So now level 2, your heart healing has been completed with the angels. Yay. Let's talk about level 3. Level 3, I cannot find any reference anywhere in the world to what this is about. And I'm so excited about it. Whew, it's just really big and it's near and dear to my heart. So first of all, we each have an individual control panel. And so in our individual control panels, this controls our healing at the physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual levels. So in level 3, you learn how to access not only your own individual healing control panel, but a control panel that clients bring to you because it's their control panel. You learn how to access it for the highest good in healing, right? We're not in control of their healing. We are channeling what is coming through. And so you ask the angels, you go, okay, where do we start here? So for you guys, where we're starting is, we're starting with the healing, and it's of a type that the angels brought to me. It's just remarkable. I woke up in the middle of the night, my hands were across my heart, and I was feeling the most incredible, delicious energy coming through. It was unlike anything I'd ever felt before. And as I'm feeling that, I'm like, oh, angels, what is this? And I hear them say, oh, that's illuminated Reiki. And I'm like, I have never heard of that before. And they just laughed and I went back to sleep. Then when I woke up, I said, okay, angels, what is that all about? And they said, well, Reiki is universal energy, right? That's available to everybody. And illuminated Reiki helps heal not only wherever it needs to be healed, but it helps bring in that higher consciousness awareness that changes on all levels. So you never have that issue again. I'm like, oh, I'm liking that. So that's what you learn in level 3, not only the personal control panel, but how to work with the illuminated Reiki and facilitate that for others and yourself, of course, loved ones and anybody else. So right now, with you as the group who are receiving, I am accessing the group control panel, and the angels have just said, just put it full on so they can really feel what illuminated Reiki is all about for them. So with just like anything else, it's going to be different in how you perceive it. So you may feel it, you may hear it, you may sense it, you may know it, you may see colors, you may hear tones, whatever. It's perfect for whatever it is. But usually people will say, oh my gosh, I'm really feeling this overwhelming feeling in my heart. That kind of seems to be a common response. Allow it to be what it is for you, and know it's for your highest good and healing. It's in alignment with your focus that you stated at the beginning of the session, and it will give you that or something better. Gee, how does it get better than that? In level 3, we also work with the sacred geometry fields that are in our energy field that probably have not been activated, but sometimes they get spontaneously activated. In working with sacred geometry, we're working with consciousness. And so this brings about shifts and changes within you, in your thoughts, your emotions, your beliefs, your abilities, your spiritual lessons. It shifts everything. But learning how to work with it consciously is very helpful for ourselves, as well as helping others to affect those changes within themselves through the help of the angels, if that makes sense. It doesn't matter if you understand what sacred geometry is. I mean, basically, it's any form that opens your heart. So how can it go wrong, right? And there are some specific forms that we'll be working with in level 3. But for you guys, we've got your personal control panels, and you're full on receiving that illuminated Reiki, and even I'm getting sleepy from it. So you must be getting really tired from it, because that's kind of a side effect that happens. The angels just laugh when I talk about that, because they say, well, this is just, it's like an anesthetic, if you will. So sometimes deep changes can happen more and faster if you're asleep, or you're just not, your conscious mind is not getting in the way, in other words. So that's kind of why we feel sleepy. It's because deep changes are happening. I wanted to share with you a story about working with level 3. So not too long ago, I was doing a conference where I was offering 10 minutes of healing for $10, just to introduce the Healing Angel Protocol to people. And there was a young man that came in, and I said, okay, what do you want to heal, shift, and change? And he said, I want to let go of stress. And he just kind of was like, yeah, I just want to let go of stress. Okay, fine. So we started, I invited the angels in, and they said, we're not working with stress. We're going to work with his spine. I said, okay, the angels aren't going to work with stress. They're going to work with your spine. And he goes, huh, okay. And then he closed his eyes and he just sat there. And so I was guided to put one hand at the base of his head and one hand at the base of his spine. So like by the sacroiliac joint, and just hold that. So I didn't know what was going on, but I knew that I could feel something was happening. And so I held that for I don't know how long. And then we get all done. And I said, okay, the angels say you're done. And he opens up his eyes and he's kind of looking at me funny. And I said, you have any questions? And he goes, no. But you could tell he was really deeply processing something. And he just reaches in his pocket, and he hands me this fistful of money, and he just kind of bolts out of there. But as he's bolting out of there, I'm like looking at him, because I'm thinking, wow, he looks taller. This is really interesting. So you never know. So you let go and allow. And on the next day, though, he came back, and I'm looking at him, and he's tall and he's straight and he's confident, and he's a completely different person from who he was the day before. And I said, oh my gosh, how are you doing? And he goes, my back's healed. I said, what? He said, my back is healed. He said, I've had this all my life, and my back is healed. So I brought to you somebody else who I think you could work with. So bless his heart. But I mean, that you never know when you access that individual control panel. When somebody walks in looking one way physically and leaving a completely different way physically, that to me is a DNA change. Now, the control panel doesn't just work with physical. It works physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, wherever you need it. And many things have tentacles. So, for him, it was physical. For the next person I worked with, it was not physical. It was more emotional, and even giving her some spiritual tools so that she could maintain a better emotional balance for herself. So it just, you never know, and you just allow. Phew, how you doing? Is it hot? Are you feeling kind of warm? That's also a really good side effect. Okay, so while you're Well, that's toning down now. I think the angels are, well, they may still be working with you. And if they still work with you, this could go on for 24 to 48 hours. So just allow, be gentle with yourself, drink lots of water after we're done here. But let me explain to you how the course is taught, because I teach the Healing Angel Protocol to people. I did enough sessions that I thought, you know what, I think we just need to learn this. And so I've been working with students in levels 1, 2, and 3. And so this is how it's taught. There's an online component where every week you learn a new technique. Like level 1 is 6 weeks long, and that's for being a channel of healing and messages. Level 2 is 6 weeks long, and that's for healing cellular memory and the hot spots in the time-space continuum. And then level 3 is 12 weeks long, and that's where you learn how to access the individual control panel, the illuminated Reiki, and the sacred geometry. So every lesson has an online component where it's explained. And then we have a group call once a week to talk about that specific lesson. And then we hot seat somebody from the group. So when you hot seat someone, I just say, okay, who wants to be worked on this time? And everybody has something to work on. And here's the deal, you know, when you sit in that hot seat, it's not a scary place. I mean, the first time maybe it is if you've never ever done a hot seat, but wow, when you're working with the angels and you're working with the divine, that's all about divine love. And that's all that comes through. So nothing is painful, harsh, mean, or, you know, terrifying. It's all loving energy. And it's amazing what comes through for people. They fight to get on that hot seat. They just love what comes through. And even if you don't get chosen for the hot seat for that week, you're benefiting from watching it, observing it, and, you know, just experiencing it. So it's amazing what happens. So we have an online component, we have a weekly call, and then this year I'm adding a 5-day live workshop in Sedona where I'm teaching this live. So you're practicing live on people instead of through the distance, through the ethers, as we are when we hot seat, because that's all done over Zoom. And so, you know, people can be anywhere in the world, and they are everywhere in the world when we're doing that. But when you're live doing it, it's a completely different experience. So level 1, 2, and 3 are all taught within 5 days of a live experience. And so when you sign up and pay for all 3 levels of training, you get that for free. You get that for free. If you're just going to sign up for level 1, you'd probably have to pay. I mean, you will have to pay something for it, but you know, it's all amazing and perfect to do it that way. So our next training starts in the middle of September for the online component and the calls. And it actually turned out that the live training is like the next week. So it's September 24th through the 28th. And, but I'm telling you that now in case you are feeling called to sign up for this class for all the training, so you could be planning ahead if you need to, because it's held live in Sedona, Arizona. Wow. Okay. So let me share some slides with you here for just a second. Here it is. Okay, so if you want more information, here's the link where you can go for more information, or if you just know within your heart that you need to be doing this, then you can sign up here also at this link. Now, if you have questions, and you know, I'm sure you might have a lot of questions, but go there first to read more about it, and then you can use this as a free 30-minute call with me. So when you click on this link, when you put this link into your web browser, it will take you to my automatic scheduler, and you could choose a time when you can have a free call with me for 30 minutes. And so that 30 minutes will help you to answer any questions that you might have. And maybe you have questions about something about just working with angels. I don't know. So just, you'll know if you need that free call or not, but it's there for you if you need that. Now, I guess, you know, really, it would be much prettier to look at it this way. There we are. That's much better. Okay, so I will come back to these links in just a minute, but I want to just share with you some testimonials from people that have taken the course. So Lisa Myers is one of my students, and she said, you help connect to spirit, angels, earth crystals through a distinct visualization process that is like no other. I literally could place myself in the area described and perform a deep guided meditation by you. Your style of painting the gateway, so to speak, is phenomenal. It allowed me the comfort and security to trust in the process. If anyone is interested in connecting with their guides or any other living or non-living materials of this earth, this is incredible. The strides you will make and grow in this physical realm are worth putting this time into the class. Kelly Paris says, healing with the angels is the best. I feel so blessed to do this work. Honestly, I feel like I get as much from the sessions as my clients do, which is so true. This energetic transmission is such a beautiful gift. Ayla Koda says, Phoenix, our star, has an aptitude in her ability to help one enhance their own abilities by her sincere, undivided attention and clear interpretations, which motivate one to want to seek more. With Phoenix, our star, you are always evolving to your highest good. I love it, and I love her. And then Amy Hedman, the Healing Angel Protocol is a dynamic course that either kickstarts your healing journey or emphasizes your already established healing practice. I've worked many years with different energies, and this course helped me hone and polish working with angels, plants, animals, minerals, and so much more. And not only has strengthened my healing work, it has helped me on my personal journey. It establishes a practice to return to when life gets overwhelming or you just need a bump of pure light energy. Each of us has had our own experiences, and within that we found our strengths and our magic shone brighter with each class. Phoenix creates a warm, loving, and safe environment to learn, explore, and truly shine in our own light. This class is for you. Do not hesitate. So again, if you just want more information, here's the link. If you want to sign up now to start the September Level 1 class, this is the link. If you want a free call where you have more questions or you just need help and support with angels, this is the call for free 30 minutes of my time with you. So I thank you all for listening. I am so looking forward to sharing this with the world and sharing it with you as like-hearted individuals who love angels. And I want you to just notice how you're feeling right now, and just sense, sense in whatever way without attaching, just observe without attaching. And observe yourself over the next 24 to 48 hours, because that's where you're really going to start seeing differences, whether it's you may have to sleep first, but then the energy levels will come in. You may have some physical changes, emotional changes, mental changes, spiritual changes. You may have all of them. You may not notice anything right away because it can be so subtle at a cellular level, but you will reach a point where you notice it, and it's usually when you least expect it. So anyway, thank you so much for listening, and I hope to be connecting with you soon. Thank you so much, and namaste, everyone.